when we come online, we come and we maybe um, put something in a chat, or we don't typically like see each other or feel each other um, in a concerted, very specific way. And I think Level Up is like the container that we're inviting people into. That is the Ascension One community to come and do a thing together. And whether that's online, doing that thing together, or whether that's whether you're going to be there with us in person, anchoring that worldwide energy in. This is our first real significant community gathering since before COVID.
Yes, that's true. So the times where we got together in a retreat format or in person were either the Accelerated Ascension workshops with Stargate, which are incredible, and and then also our Sacred Earth expeditions that some of you have joined. And before COVID, we used to have actual in-person events. Now, post-COVID, the world looks a bit more open, and we are very interested and very curious to have more in-person events, or what we call hybrid events. So where some of those that can actually travel and have um, the time and space and the resources to be there in person, we'd love to have you in person. There's a certain quality to being together in the same room. And there's a certain quality to meeting the people that you've only seen on a tiny Zoom tile, or maybe your pod mates who you have maybe met in person or you haven't met in person yet. But there is that opportunity to come together and get to know each other on a human level, in the same room, in the same space, share a meal, share a tea, a coffee together,
Yeah.
or maybe go for a walk in nature together and maybe sit in nature together. So there's going to be plenty of those opportunities if you choose to come in person. But of course, if you don't come in person, we'll have a very clear live stream schedule that you can join. And these live streams, as some of you have witnessed in Accelerated Ascension, but maybe also in the courses, when we do these energetic connections in person and as well virtually together at the same time, and even for those that are doing this at a future time, when we come together, there is an energetic field that's created, both with the support of the guides as well as with the energetic presence that we bring into it. Now, we've been practicing for a long time together. We can hold a beautiful and powerful energetic space that's synchronized, that holds a very potent container. And everyone who's coming, who's new to it, they'll be able to feel it, right? All the work that we have done together will show. Those that are familiar with meditation but have never worked, within our context, will notice, wow, there is a presence to this energy. There is a palpable um, beauty and frequency to this, right? And some of them might just be like zonked out and experience the energy like in more behind the scenes, like unconscious ways, which is also perfectly fine. And some of them might be able to really witness the energy shifting and changing and rising and amplifying as we go through this event.
Mm.
And this is how it's also structured. So these pre-events that we're doing with you, like this one, they're a bit of a build-up, right? And I've seen some posts earlier that basically said, oh my God, I already feel it. I already feel the energy. It's true. The moment you commit that you're going to be at a particular meditation, it has already started. It's almost like you say, I'm in, and in this place of no space and time, you're literally already in, right? It's not like, oh, I'll be
Yeah.
in like 3 days or 5 days. You said, no, you say, I'm in. the quantum field, or the non-dual space, basically understand that, oh, I'm in. So if you're in, then it has already started. Obviously, with the focus that we bring together at that particular time, like today, and then the next sessions that we'll do, these free transmissions for Level Up, they'll build up the energetic structure so that when we start in Lake Tahoe, and for all of those that are joining virtually, there is already a certain foundation that we start with,
Mhm.
right? And this is what I believe is similar to my personal process. It's been always like I build up to a certain level, and then it's much easier to get to that next level of depth because there is a certain foundation that's already established. And
Mhm.
Crystal, you've experienced that too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And when we were talking about this particular time of the year, we were talking about how this is like the perfect time to go inward, right? Right before the turn of the year, right before the holidays, when everything's a little bit outward and kind of wonky, and you've got a lot of like dynamics happening with family and friends. So this is the opportunity to kind of um, do your own building up, leveling up, building up that energy, and to fortify yourself, I would say, for the end of the year. So
And what's interesting is I personally, in my experience, the summer and early spring have been quite potent times, right? You know, if I were to ask for a show of hands, I probably would see a bunch of hands up. And was this, at times felt like a bit of a roller coaster, or at times felt like energetically really strong, like something's going on. And there is clearly a transformative energy present in in our world, in our reality. And this transformative energy is, imagine it to be like raw life force,
mhm.
right? If we are attuned, if we are aligned internally, then we can allow this energy to move through us without it
Right,
destabilizing us.
right.
If we're not aligned, it'll take us on a ride, right? And I know that for a fact for myself personally. I've seen it by immediate experiences of others. So it's a great time to get back into practice and have that these internal tools. Imagine these meditations, these practices to be like tools for you. And they're powerful tools. So you can actually receive the raw force of creation, the love of creation in a way that it's not destabilizing, but it can actually run through you. Imagine like a higher voltage energy being able to move through you without it feeling like, oh my God, it's so overwhelming. Or like what's happening? Like, people are emotionally all over the place, or they're mentally confused or overwhelmed. So even if other people are overwhelmed around you, even if the world seems unstable or uncertain, there's a way of us holding our energy internally that we can witness that and we can be present to it without the instability of others or the circumstances taking us on a ride, right? And that's really the magic of this work. So, why level up, and why this formalized way of coming together as a community? First of all, we as an organization, we want to deliver this work to you and the messages and the energies of the guides with as much ease and purity as possible. And there is a power to a community. There's a power to all of us coming together energetically and aligning and really syncing up in terms of our life purposes, our intentions, what we want for ourselves, what we want for the world. And when we do that, the more people come together in terms of aligning and syncing up in direction, vision, and service to the world, there is a palpable, powerful force that occurs. So it's no longer just on my shoulders or like on the AOC team's shoulders, but it's everyone that's in the community that's holding together. And suddenly it feels like we are in it together, right? So the community aspect is so significant and so important. So please don't perceive yourself just as a um, passive viewer. Like
Hmm.
you are a critical element to this work. You are a
Yes.
critical element to uplifting the energy and the potential in a community setting. And then from there, the ripple effects that go into the world, that's true transformational energy and power. Now, if we can bring this light, as individual pillars of light, but also as a community that is in itself a giant pillar of light. Just imagine that, right? So we are all synced up. We feel almost like a one organism in this deep meditative states. Then we become almost like one giant pillar of light that's bringing, and I'm talking about the light of creation, not the opposite of dark, like not dark light, the dualistic opposites, but more like the light of creation. And if we bring that into the world, I think it's beyond even our imagination what the
Hmm.
impact can be.
Yeah.
So that's why we're doing this. And level up, you know, I'd love to see and hear from people how this work has impacted their lives. I'd love to see how some of you have been in service. And I know a lot of you have stepped into service. And we talked about it many times. Service can look in many, many different ways. It can even be that you are a different friend, husband, wife, father, mother than you were before, or you are a different colleague or boss than you
Yeah.
were before in the work that you do in the world. Or it could be more like something that we classify as spiritual service. It could be, being a healer, a sound healer, a guide, a coach. There's many different ways service takes shape. And some of you express that also artistically or in words or in sound. So there's many mediums through which the energy that we connect into can be delivered to others and to humanity. Yeah. What else you got to say, Crystal?
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
Hmm. What else do I want to say? I want to express gratitude to everybody in this community who has been actively working on their own self growth and their own evolution, and creating these ripples, as you were saying, the ripples of being working on themselves so that they can be a better partner, boss, leader, parent, or they can be better able to hold this growing community. So those are our ambassadors, previously known as our facilitators, who hold those through a course. We're really creating an energetic container here that um, feels supportive of everybody's um, journey, and it is a journey. So
Hmm.
it's not always easy. This is not the spiritual bypass community. This is the community that are doing hard and real things,
Mm,
and are open and honest about it. Right? There's no spiritual jockeying or positioning or what have you. Like, I think
mm,
the language that we express is vulnerability and openness about how we're on these journeys, and we're not perfect people, and we're using all of these challenges as opportunities for growth. So just when you asked me what else I wanted to share, I think that's what comes through is just the gratitude for everybody who's early on the journey. Yeah.
that's beautiful. Well,
Mm.
thank you for that. And I'll say, when we choose to have this conscious form of evolution, then it's I'd say it's not really for the faint of heart. So it takes a lot of courage. It takes energy. It takes space that we have to take, maybe from other obligations or other commitments that we might have in life, in order to do what we're doing. As some of you might remember, when you go through a course, that's a lot of work, right? Internally, that's a lot of work to create that space and that silence for you to be able to do your personal development. And that is a form of leveling up. Now, in the process of it, or like immediately right after, it may not look like a level up. It may be like, oh my God, this was, so hard. And look at me, I still haven't figured it out. Or like, I'm more confused than I was before. Like, that there is elements to that. But imagine it to be like this: who we are today is based on a scaffolding of conditions and circumstances that have led us to who we are today. And some of these things happened naturally, organically. Some of these things happened through impulses from outside, could even be trauma that has shaped us to who we are today. And there's been a lot of elements of unconscious evolution. Now, there's something to be said of, the natural order of things, that it's beautiful and perfect as it is. But as we're going to become like pillars of light and pillars of light in service, then sometimes we have to like peel some of these layers and these conditionings and the foundations that have been created to establish a new foundation for something even more powerful, that it can be held.
Mm.
Imagine you're building a foundation for a two-story house. Looks very different than building a foundation for a skyscraper. So you can't just take the house down and put a skyscraper on top. You have to actually build an entirely different foundation for it. And it may look like you're going further down rather than going up. I was promised a skyscraper. So that is what I would consider the during the course or after course, maybe slight disorientation, or, well, I haven't figured it out. Like, but I promise you, the effects and the impact of the work that you do will come in due time. And what you're doing, even if you don't see immediate effects of it, it will be there. It may take, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months sometimes to really establish. But you'll notice the way you respond to things, the way you perceive things, the way you develop relationships, the way you sense. everything around you, including energy, might change as a result of this new foundation. And things that we can build on top of this new foundation, that's when we're talking about like truly leveling up, right?
Mhm.
And as many of you have noticed, we haven't done a lot of courses or a lot of transmissions over the last couple months. That's also because we as individuals within AOC, including myself, and then we as an organization, we're going through our own process of leveling up, right? And that's necessary. It's important. For me to say that I have stopped leveling up would be, I don't know, at best it would be foolish to think that. It's a continued process, no matter where you are, and no matter how much of internal work and energetic work or emotional work you have done. There's always a nuance or a new layer, a new depth to it. So we were going through our own level ups as well as an organizational level up. And we're really excited to share some of those with you, both on
Mhm.
an energetic level, but also more concrete things about where are we heading as an organization? Where are we heading as, like, what's the vision we're holding for humanity? And how do we want all of you to be part of this vision that we hold for humanity?
Yeah.
And that's, some of that is going to be revealed in Lake Tahoe. And I would love as many people from the community to be there, and for you and your pod mates to come together if you were in a pod in the courses before, and for you to bring those individuals that you feel resonance and support with, that you want to walk this path with.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. And I'm sure our team will share all the links with you on how to join if you haven't already. But we expect a great outcome, and we really expect as many of you to be there as possible.
Yeah. And for those who are in a different time zone, that kind of make it not possible to watch live, um, the replays are available instantly.
Yes.
So when you wake up, it'll be there for you. And maybe um, those of you who are in different time zones can set up, maybe watch parties or something that you can go through it together around the same time, or
Mm-hmm.
something to feel that own little flavor of community. Thinking about like Australia and some other, Japan and China. So
Yes. And the more we can get like this sense of community, I
mhm,
think it it lightens up our hearts. Like there's an
mhm,
element of human connection that's really beautiful on this journey, because
yeah,
it can be a challenging journey forward. So to be able to hold hands, to be present to each other as human beings, see each other as human beings on this journey, uh, there is incredible value to it, because the world out there may not always immediately understand what you're up to and what you're doing. And they may have their own judgments and projections about what is it that you're doing with your time and with your energy and with your resources. So a community aspect is also holding each other in the transformational process, seeing each other and assuring to each other everything is good. Like, we're doing great work. You're doing great. You look great. You feel great. So let's move on this together. And if you don't feel good or you don't look great for whatever reason, there is also a community there to hold you in that space, in that
yeah,
love and in that compassion of another being that understands that the journey is not always, you know, um, sunshine
hmm.
and rainbows.
It can be, but not always.
It can be, as I said, it's not always, right? and we may have to dig deep, or there's like layers coming off. There is things coming to surface that want to be processed, and as the
Mhm,
guides call it, these incomplete realizations to come to realization.
mhm.
And that is very much potentiated in a communal setting.
Yeah.
100%.
Power in numbers.
There is power in numbers, Crystal. 100%. And I can't wait for the day when we are, tens of thousands of people doing these sessions together
Yeah,
and truly having these massive ripple effects, right?
yeah,
Imagine a stadium full of people like really like tuning in and holding this giant pillar of light
yeah.
and rippling through like this reality that we're living in, and the potential transformational effect of that.
Mm.
um, I think that's really powerful.
Yeah.
Well,
So, what do you think? What's the next aspect of this? Shall we
I'll tell you what the next aspect is. um, I'm gonna run to the restroom, and then I'll be back in 2 minutes,
Okay.
and then we're gonna get on with the channeling, okay?
Uh, all right. Well, yes, all of the things that I guess the race car driver, right? The Formula One race car driver didn't make a pit stop to the restroom when he was switching locations. So I've been hearing from so many of you the level of excitement that you have for sharing with one another, either the energetic space or the personal space in for during the level up workshop. And I have to say that there's something to be said for people coming together who know each other energetically, but don't know each other's families or what they like to eat for dinner. When you finally do come together, all of that is an aside. It's like you know one another, and then everything, the getting to know you on a human level is this delightful treat. So we're going to try to create some of those aspects for those of you who are virtual as well. More like these little side cafes or uh, dinner parties, so to speak, while we're in person, while we're having our break times, so that you can maybe get to know each other on a human, personal level. um, a lot of you have been in courses together, or you've been feeling each other in the field. So it's great for us to be able to really dig into that worldly perspective of one another. So we're really excited to bring that to you, and we're still working on those pieces, and they'll be revealed closer to the date. The commercial break is now over. What a Sunday. Okay, so I'm going to leave you all with a seal and the guides, or I'll leave the screen to the seal and guides, and I'll join you in the field. All
Thank you, Crystal.
right, see
See you
you.
in a few.
Okay.
Hmm. So all together, let's take a couple of deep breaths, and you can either be seated or lying down, whatever suits you best. And just start to tune in. I feel a lot of you in your presence. I see even familiar faces. Take a couple of deep breaths together. And take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And deep breath in and a deep breath out. And one more. There's an incredible amount of love and presence and care for each other in this community. And in days like this, a special full moon, the energies are even more palpable and stronger. So, can we funnel this energy into this gathering, into this congregation, this energetic structure, this intention of conscious evolution, of growing together, of evolving together, of deep presence together, deep alignment, and deep healing if that's also what's necessary. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you all in a few minutes after this channeling and potentially an adjustment. Greetings. We are Elohim. This transformational journey in human form is initiated and catalyzed by the individual's desire and call to evolve and to self realize. Some individuals will walk this path ahead of others, and they will be pioneers, examples of evolution in human form. Despite their efforts not always seen, understood, or rewarded by this current reality or by others in this world, the innate understanding of the journey is reward enough. The sense of evolution, the sense of growth, the sense of alignment, the sense of self realization. Every step is cherished and delivers a great gift, moment by moment, step by step, phase by phase. As you evolve, you receive, you perceive, and you integrate the gifts that unfold. And as some of you might notice, that these gifts are applied to circumstances and relationships in your life, some of you will notice that the challenges that you face will match the energy and the frequency that you hold. Some of you will be faced with greater challenges in life as they have now a greater foundation and greater alignment to face these challenges with the support that they hold within. Individuals that have aligned in this self realization journey, attuned in frequency and synchronized to hold these expanded and heightened states of consciousness, will truly have a great effect on humanity, a great effect on society, on the evolution of human consciousness. While you will receive the benefits individually and in your lives, truly the greater effect and the greater service of your journey is the service to humanity. A service that can only be delivered in human form in this particular way. You have chosen to live the human form, to incarnate and to experience a human life with all the details that you have witnessed, all the challenges, the relationships, the relational dynamics and circumstances of your life, all of which serve a divine purpose of growth, of learning, and evolution. Many of you have walked this path before in other lifetimes. Many of you carry great understanding of the spiritual journey itself. Many of you carry great gifts, ready to be unlocked and activated to be in service. And many of you are already activated, ready to step into a new stage of presence, into a new stage of being a receiver and transmitter of this love of creation in its purest form. These non dual energies that you tap into in these gatherings, in these practices, are truly a divine power that is your birthright, that is available to all individuals and humans, no matter the circumstances. Yet the bridges established to these higher planes of consciousness and these streams of energies are few. This is one of the bridges established by all of you together, held, maintained, nourished by all of you together. A bridge that will fuel this generation and many generations to come. A bridge that will fuel the evolution of consciousness in human form. A bridge that will provide transformational potential, a potential to heal, a potential to realign. Witnessing this transformation from a human perspective at times might be challenging. Witnessing someone's struggle to face the traumas and the misalignments of their lives, the unprocessed aspects of many generations that have brought them to who they are today. And in this state of non dual presence, you can truly observe in a neutral way, in a way that does not destabilize you, in a way that does not pull you into playing a specific role other than being a pillar of light, observing the transformation of consciousness. If many of you master this ability, humanity will have gained great supporters in its journey to evolve. And all the challenges you face as society, as a civilization, as a human race, as a collective, will be addressed with grace and with greater ease. Thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and millions of people are going through similar processes that you have gone through. An awakening is underway. And many will not understand in this very moment what is occurring to them in their lives. They will witness that life in itself is changing. They will witness the questions that they're asking themselves, the way they perceive reality is shifting. They will witness the emotions that are arising unexpectedly, unusually. This call from within, the call of evolution and self realization, is to be omnipresent for all of humanity. And for this time of awakening, individuals like yourselves will be a critical element of support, a critical element of presence, the space that is held by many, first by few, to allow this transformational process to be nourished and held in the greatest light that an individual can receive and hold sustainably. Gatherings of this kind will become a continued effort, a continued delivery mechanism of support from us to you and from you to yourself and to others, from all of you to humanity. Allow yourself without thoughts and emotions to truly receive. Allow yourself to fall into the greatest depth of presence that you can hold. Allow yourself to expand beyond the boundaries that you perceive in this human form, and allow this communal energetic field to hold you in your expansion. Thank you for listening to our words. We will commence now with the adjustments to support this expansion and this alignment. Thank you for receiving this gift of ours. Our work is complete. So, this energetic field that we created together is present, is incredibly potent. And you can just be in this field as it continues to be held by the entire community. Just like wrapped in a cocoon, you can keep receiving. And you can even direct this energy with a soft focus to aspects of your life. Maybe a greater physical health and well being, maybe a greater emotional or mental health and well being, a greater energetic presence and alignment. And maybe you're merely a vessel to transform and transmit this energy to all of those around you. And always remember the energy that moves through you is not your individual life force. It is the excess energy that we receive through and in this connection. And there is an unlimited source of this. Maybe it is like ripples that go into all of humanity. Ripples that have the potential to change others, support others in their journey, allow them to have beneficial thoughts and creative thoughts, allow them to be in greater level of peace, allow them to take actions that are in alignment with creation. And they may not know who and why they have received this support, and they may not know that it was you. But nonetheless, this divine exchange and support is given without a direct and immediate reciprocity or recognition, acknowledgement that we were the ones that affected others. We just seek to be in service unconditionally, naturally, with ease, sustainably. And whenever we have found service like that, we receive great benefits ourselves as well. You may stay in this energetic field for as long as you want to and continue to receive and to transmit, or maybe even lie down to allow it to naturally complete the work that we have started together, harnessing the potent time of this full moon and the potent time of humanity's transformation. Thank you all for joining, and I'll hand over to Crystal.
Thank you. Thank you, Asil. Thank you to the guides. So, yeah, I think the first energetic alignment feels like a success. I know I'm feeling it. We have another one scheduled for Saturday, October 22nd. We'll put some more details out about that. And then we may do another one November 2nd, Wednesday, November 2nd, before the weekend, before going into the weekend. Our level up is Saturday and Sunday, November 4th and 5th. For those of you who have completed the advanced course level 3 summit and are considered pillars of light in service, we have added a day on the front end, similar to the weekend that we went through called Elevate in March. And that day is Friday, November 3rd. So you'll have the opportunity to take part in the Level Up workshop over the course of 3 days. So we'll post in the chats that we have here, wherever you're watching. We'll post the link for the weekend, the 2-day weekend, open to everybody. And we'll also post the Level Up weekend package that's available to those who have completed that advanced level course summit, which is the 3-day. We encourage you, while we are a community, an existing community, we encourage you to bring anybody that you feel called to bring to this workshop, this weekend workshop, Level Up. So whether that's a friend that you've been thinking about introducing this work to, or you want to go through this with your sister as you go into the holidays, or your mother, to create a united front to help you each go through your own introspection and level up before heading through to the end of the year. This work is accessible to everyone, and we encourage you to bring more of those you feel called to bring. So with that, I say thank you, and I'm feeling the energy from the channel, but I'm also feeling the energy from this community that really pulls together this specific in this specific container. So I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your days, and we'll see you soon. Take care.